Good morning, guys. Good morning, Instagram. Good morning, Facebook. How is everybody today? It's a wonderful Tuesday. I'm so excited to be back with you guys. I've kind of given myself kind of an extra day to do other things on Monday, and I find that I'm really excited when I come back on Tuesdays to kind of do these videos with you guys. So thank you for joining me. Good morning, good morning. Just going to give everybody a minute or two to get organized before we start. But with today, we're going to make baked oatmeal. And if you've never heard of baked oatmeal, it's a lot different than oatmeal. Oatmeal, right, is kind of what it was originally called, porridge. This is a lot of ingredients put together and baked so that you cut pieces out. So it's almost like a bar, you know, kind of crumbly and soft. So super yummy. I used to make these all the time when I was working on charter boats in the Caribbean. It's a great breakfast. It's a great afternoon snack. It's fairly healthy, and it's, you know, it's I don't know, it's a nice alternative to a breakfast. Sometimes I can't be bothered with cereal or eggs or a smoothie or whatever. This is kind of nice. And you know, oatmeal itself, especially in the summer or in hot weather, can be real heavy. This kind of gives you that oatmeal without the heat or the heaviness to it. So so we're gonna do that, and hopefully give everybody just another minute or two to join in. And it's actually a very quick put together, and you can freeze it or refrigerate it. It'll keep for a few days. You'll want to reheat it before you eat it. That rhymes. But you can, you know, it's definitely something that you can make for the week and kind of have it on hand. So let's get started. Okay, so we're doing baked oatmeal. I'm kind of repeating myself for everybody who just jumped on. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Baked oatmeal is a little bit different than what you're used to. I love it. It's awesome. And you can eat it with, typically I eat it with some yogurt and fruit because it kind of cuts the tang of the yogurt and the fruit added with the oatmeal. It's just really yummy. So let's get started. Okay. So we are going to do, first of all, you want an 8x8 baking dish if you've got one. And I'm going to spray it because it will get sticky when you put the oatmeal mixture in. Hey Lucy, how are you, hon? Good to see you. Thank you. I like this headband. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, so I'm going to spray my pan because it does get really sticky, and it makes for much easier cleanup, and also when you want to cut, it's a cleaner cut of the squares. So, okay. We're going to do 3 cups of oats. You can use, these are old-fashioned oats. My personal favorite oat to use are the steel cut oats. If you've never had steel cut oats, they're a lot different. So if you kind of look at these, like, right, these are flakes of oats. You can kind of see, like, they're real thin flakes. Steel cut oats are cut, and they're real tiny pieces. I'm trying to think of what they would be similar to off the top of my head. Like, think of like a half of a grain of rice. That's probably the size. And they have a lot chewier texture. They also require a lot longer cooking time and a lot more liquid because they are thicker. They're not as thin, so they need more liquor to liquor. Where's my head today? More liquid to absorb the oats. So, can you use rolled oats? Yes, that's exactly what I'm using. This is old-fashioned rolled oats. You could, if you only have like the quick minute oats, you can use those too. You just might need to check it and make sure that it might not need to bake as long, but you'll be fine. I mean, you can use any of them, but you just have to be careful that if you're using steel cut oats, I'll tell you as I make this how much more liquid you need to add. But for now, for all intents and purposes, I'm using old-fashioned rolled oats, okay? So we want 3 cups. And you know what's funny is I went to the store yesterday because I didn't have any more oats. These organic old-fashioned oats were cheaper than Quaker oats. That's a little weird to me. I don't know. I thought that was strange. Like, not by much, but like, still like 20 cents, which usually organic is always way more. So, okay, so I have oats. Next, you want to add some sugar. Okay, here's where it's entirely up to you how much sugar you want to add. It was brought to my attention when I used to do these on charter boats that some people think like it's I put 3/4 cups of sugar in here. That makes it fairly sweet. So if you don't really like your oatmeal sweet, I would cut it down to maybe a scant half cup or maybe even just 1/3 cup of sugar. If you like your oatmeal sweet, then do the 3/4 cups. I personally like it somewhere in the middle because, you know, I have to be that difficult. So I'm gonna do kind of a generous half cup. So, but otherwise you can do, so I'm just gonna kind of pile on a little extra sugar here. If I was doing 3/4 cup, this is a 1/4 cup mix thing, so I would have added one more. Okay, where did my container lid go? Right here. Okay. And you want to use 1/2 cup of some kind of fat. You could use, I've got butter. You could use, if you don't want to use butter, or if you're trying to make this more of a vegan situation, you could use coconut oil. I've used coconut oil before and it's delicious. It gives you also that coconut essence a little bit, depending on which coconut oil you use. But you could use coconut oil. You could also use like a flavorless vegetable oil if you'd like. So I'm gonna add my butter. Okay. Next, I'm gonna add 2 eggs, but I'm gonna whisk them first so that it's just liquid, because otherwise I'm half asleep, right, getting ready for breakfast. I've just plopped them in, and then they don't really, they don't mix as well if you don't kind of whisk them ahead of time. So don't be like me and be half asleep. Apparently I'm not half asleep today, which is weird because I didn't get much sleep last night, but I guess my coffee is kicking in. Okay, so I'm just whisking these, and I'm gonna add these 2. The thing about I love this too is that it's like a one bowl wonder. So, I mean, aside from, you know, this and melting your butter, you really don't have a lot of dishes to clean up, which we all love. So, and then I'm gonna add 2 cups of milk. You could also, again, if you're doing this keto or vegan, you could add coconut milk, is awesome, especially if you get it out of the cans, not the containers. You could add almond milk, you could do soy milk, you could do oat milk. I just thought of that. I might have to try the oat milk next time. I've never tried oat milk though. Have you guys? I'm curious. Do you like oat milk? I've heard things about it, so I'm curious. Anyway, yeah, the coffee's kicking in. Okay. I want 2 teaspoons of baking powder. This is just going to help it kind of set, right? So, because it's a leavener, it's just going to help it kind of give it some structure since there's no flour in this. This is another reason why I did this tutorial, because I don't know about you guys, but I'm going through so much flour, butter, and eggs that it's really hard to keep up, especially with the way the stores are these days. So I'm going to do a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to do... And back to my liquor comment, if you really wanted to add, like, I would suggest Bailey's. You could substitute some of your milk for Bailey's. I used to make a Bailey's oatmeal on charter that is so good. So good, so smooth. I actually got the idea from when I went to Ireland and we stayed at a B&B, and they actually did offer Bailey's oatmeal. It's so good. So if you wanted to make this a little bit more, you know, adult, by all means. Okay, so then I'm going to add my vanilla and hope that I have 2 teaspoons in this. Ooh, just barely. Yeah. Perfect. And then I'm going to finish with 2 teaspoons. Oh, sorry, it's supposed to be 1 teaspoon of vanilla, but 2 teaspoons is fine. It's still going to be good. And then a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. I love cinnamon in this, so I'm actually going to do it kind of generously. Kind of like a you know, whopping half teaspoon. And then from this point, you could add any other mixture you want. You could add nuts, you could add dried fruit, you could add shredded coconut. If you're going to use sweetened coconut, you might want to cut back on the sugar a little bit because sweetened coconut is very sweet. So you could add really anything else that you wanted to this. But I am going to keep it simple because I like to add my fruit and yogurt to it as I eat it by a piece. So, okay, so I'm mixing it up. There's quite a bit of liquid in here, right? But that's good because if it's not soupy, then when it goes to bake, your oats aren't going to have enough moisture to absorb. So, like, it's very soupy, if you can see. Like, I'll try and, like, right? Okay, you see that over there? Okay, so that's good because you want it to absorb the liquid. So then, you're going to pour it into your greased 8x8. If you do not have an 8x8 and you have to use a bigger container, you can up the ingredients by, well, depending on the size. If it's just a slightly bigger one, like a, what is that one? Like if this is an 8x8, that's like a 10x12, I think. Then you only need to add like 25% more of your ingredients. If it's like the big guy, like the 9x13 or the 11x13, I don't know, sizes and measurements, you might need to do half, like a 1.5 times recipe, which you can also do that if you want to make more and kind of refrigerate or freeze for a later time. So, okay, so this is going to go in the oven at a 350 oven for about 25-30 minutes, but really what you want is you want it to be set, kind of like brownies, right? And I like to see slightly golden around the edges where it's almost kind of starting to pull away, because then it's definitely baked through, because you know, oats and the liquid and stuff, you might not see underneath that it's baked all the way through. It will be slightly crumbly when you cut into it, so you want to let it cool for probably about 20 minutes. But it will still be slightly crumbly just because it is so moist. If you've got steel cut oats, like I said, you want to add, I'm trying to remember what the ratio is. I believe it's, so that's 2 cups with 3 cups of oatmeal. I'm going to say you want to add at least 3 cups liquid to 3 cups oatmeal. So almost like a 1-to-1 ratio. You might want to go a little bit higher. Double check your packaging, right, on the outside. And if the steel cut oats say that you need at least double, then you want to do like a 1-to-1. You're going to have a little bit more liquid, right, with your eggs and all that. So you might want to do like a 1.5-to-1. So if it's 3 cups of oatmeal, you might need to add 4.5 cups of milk plus your eggs, just to make sure that it gets baked. Because trust me, I have baked steel cut oatmeal and not have enough liquid and it's crunchy. So you kind of learn, like, give and take. So then when you're done, you can slice into it. This serves about like 9 kind of squares like this. I love to dust it with powdered sugar and cinnamon on top for presentation. And then I also will kind of serve it with, like I said, like fruit and some yogurt. I find like my favorite yogurts to eat with it, which I don't normally eat on my own. I don't usually eat a lot of yogurt anyway, but I certainly don't eat these flavors on their own. It's like a dark cherry, like a black cherry or a blueberry. For some reason, the tang of that fruit yogurt is so good with this oatmeal. So that's kind of what I would recommend. So I'm going to pop this in the oven and I'm going to bake it for about 30 minutes at 350. And I will post a photo when it's over. I got a request to post some plating ideas, so I will actually post some of plating ideas that I did when I was on charter, as I did take a lot of pictures for that. So, so that's about it for today's. I mean, this is a quick 1 dish. Well, okay, it's like 3 dishes, but super quick. Kind of one bowl bake off, one bowl wonder. And yeah, so it's healthy, it's filling, and you can eat this all year round because it's not super heavy, which is great. So anyway, that is what I've done for today. Tomorrow we're gonna make homemade Pop-Tarts. I know you're excited. I'm excited because I loved Pop-Tarts as a kid. Not the toaster strudels, but the Pop-Tarts. But the recipe that we're doing tomorrow is going to be more like the toaster strudels, but it's homemade, so it's okay. So we're gonna do two different kinds. I'm gonna show you the classic brown sugar cinnamon, and then I'm gonna show you a jam filled. I think the preserves I have are cherry, but you could use blueberry preserves or jam, strawberry. You could use any flavor jam that you have. And then you can do the glaze to kind of like do the color, right? Like, remember the blueberry Pop-Tarts had like almost a blue glaze on it or whatever, and strawberry Pop-Tarts had a pink, and cherry had like a dark pink, I think it was. So we're gonna do Pop-Tarts tomorrow, which is very exciting. And then on tomorrow's Wednesday, Thursday, we're doing carrot cream cheese muffins, because I talked about that last week when I was making muffins, and I got some requests for that. So we're gonna make carrot cream cheese muffins. And then on Friday, we're gonna do macarons. Now, I am just gonna tell you right now that the technique I totally get. They don't always turn out. I don't know why. You know, sometimes I've talked to other chefs, like there are just those things that just don't, they just don't work. So I'm gonna do them and I'm gonna walk you through it because I totally understand the technique and the theory and all the things behind it. So we're fingers crossed that I do it right. I'm gonna make a batch beforehand just to make sure I know what I'm doing. But, and also to demonstrate how to fill them and everything. But I don't particularly like them. I know some people love them. It's all the rage right now. So since I don't particularly love them, I haven't mastered them. But that doesn't mean I'm not willing to try and try again, because this broadens and stretches my baking legs, just like all of you, right? Okay, so apparently I've had too much coffee today, but that's okay, because I'm gonna use it to my benefit. And I'm gonna bake this off, and I'm going to take a picture when it's done. And I want to see pictures from you if you've done this, because I'd love to hear what you think and what, if you added any other flavorings to it, how that worked out. And thank you guys for watching. I love your support. This has been such a great thing for me to do during this crazy, crazy stuff that we're going through. It's starting to get to everybody I know, including myself. So I love that I have that this to look forward to every day. And if you want to share this with your people, I would love it. I'm, trying to build my business as I go. And obviously, right now I'm only serving the Indy area, but it can't hurt to gain a little bit more knowledge or people from around the place, because you never know. And I just appreciate your support. So thank you guys very much, and have a wonderful day. And I will see you tomorrow for Pop-Tarts.